Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vision One Media Artist Shoutout. My name is Ella Beth. I'm your host. And today's artist is this is my first repeat artist. We're doing a part 2. Yes. Okay, so if you weren't here for part 1, we'll put the link down below the video so that you can go and check that out. But part 1 happened a few months ago. And so now we're doing a follow-up interview on this artist's life and her story and what's been going on. So without further ado, welcome back, Miss ZENA.
Hey, I'm so glad to be back.
I'm glad you're back. Okay. So I told her this already, but basically, since the last episode that we did together, I've been following all your social media, so I've been able to follow along on the journey. Honestly, it looks like an absolute riot. Like you just look like you're living your best life. Yeah, absolutely. So give us a rundown. What is the big major change that has happened since the last interview?
Wow. I would say, well, I don't know if y'all can see, but your girl lost a little weight. You feel me?
Okay, first of all, a little bit of a commotion for first the outfit, but yeah, a little bit of commotion for the body. I've seen you've been putting in the work. Your pictures in the gym, got your little wrap on.
And you know what's so funny? I went to the gym all of 3 times while I was in Morocco. Girl, I was so tired.
And your photographs at each time. I was like, she's in the gym putting in the work. Girl,
meanwhile, those are the only times I ever even stepped foot into that gym, girl. When I tell you exhausted, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a 3-hour show 5 nights a week. Mm-hmm. You know, dancing, singing for 3 hours. So that's all the workout that I needed.
Not only just dancing, you're getting the whole club going. So you're
literally, so my energy is through the roof. You know what I'm saying? So every night I'm drenched in sweat. And it's so crazy because I had no idea how much weight I lost until the last week. Actually, the day before, I told you how everything's cheap over there. So I went and got a facial and all this extra stuff. And I wanted to get on the weight machine to see, what my body mass was and all that stuff because they had the machine there. And once we did it from the first time I came to the last time right before I left, 15 pounds.
Just like that.
Just like that. I was oh, great. And I was so scared because I'm oh, girl, you haven't been working out. What are you going to do? You don't even know.
Right.
And
tahine all the time.
And my birthday, I spent my birthday in Morocco. But for my birthday, like I said, I balled out on myself and I spent, a nice amount of change.
Yeah, absolutely. Which you deserve.
On myself, which I definitely deserve. However, I was thinking in my head, because you know how sometimes women, I think we all just have built-in body dysmorphia sometimes when we reach we're in that in-between age where our body is changing.
Right.
We know
who we are up here.
Right.
It's just getting used to, we're not in our 20s anymore and then it change,
so the body is changing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm used to a smaller frame, curvy but smaller frame, and now I feel like grown woman weight has come on, so it's kind of confusing me to thinking that I'm not, that I'm bigger than what I'm actually am. So I bought all of these clothes, girl, and they fit really good, but then some of them I got a large instead of a medium, and some of them I should have got a damn small, and I'm there's no way I'm small now. But obviously your girl done slimmed down, but I didn't think it was that much until I bought all of these clothes. So now I have a sack of the clothes that I bought that I have to take to get brought in because I haven't bought a sewing machine yet. I know how to sew. It's just going to take too long to sew by hand.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
right, and I would rather just pay somebody else to do it who's the time. Right.
Well, congratulations on that and feeling good.
Right, definitely feeling good. I was able to really sit down and just really reflect and rest. I think that's the best thing I can say. I'm well rested and I'm at peace.
Back here?
I would say the first month there, it really put me in a peaceful state because being here in America, as we all know, is too much going on here, And city where I was, the country I was in was Morocco, and the city was Marrakesh to be exact. And it's I would say it's the Las Vegas of Morocco, but even in that sense, it's still it's still very slow compared to America.
Yes.
They still have horse and carriage there.
Yeah.
So there's no real traffic in the streets. There's no real rush to go anywhere or do anything, you know.
Right.
So for the first time in my life, I was able to just really sit down with my thoughts
and take a beat.
And take a beat, a much needed beat to really reflect on everything and just prepare myself for the level up, the next level in my life, you know? And I feel like this was a level up for me because I have been performing here, as you know, for a long time.
Yeah.
But I hadn't experienced any of the things that all of the people that I know experienced, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like at some point in your life, there needs to be the shift that can like lead into the real, not necessarily the real path, but the path we've all been waiting for. You know what I'm saying? And it takes that one situation to kind of catapult you into that direction. Yeah, and I feel like this kind of took me from one notch to actually a couple notches, because I've learned like what
just
like
jumped a few while you're going.
No, like jumped a few. Like, you know, we'll talk maybe in another one because I can't say it right now. But it's so many things that I've learned, you know, about myself and about this business.
Yeah.
You know, while being there, that has it's toughened me up, and it was basically like a crash course to me. Yeah. It's a real crash course. You know,
not only are you thrown into a completely different culture, which, I mean, when you live in the living situation, when you live overseas doing this kind of work, you live in a hotel. Like, yes, right. Of course you live in a hotel, but you're still in a completely different culture, completely different language, completely different. Goodness. You know, so first of all, there's that to deal with. Right. Then there's all these new people in a band that you've never played with. Right. Like,
getting to mesh with the personality. Sometimes it doesn't mesh. Sometimes
even music styles, like
music styles. You know, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that, and to them, I was actually over prepared. I was probably one of the first people in a long time that's over prepared for the gig. Right. To the point where like they were just calling out new songs because I'm like, we need to do new music. Yeah. You know, and he was like, yeah, but you know, some people don't know stuff. I'm like, what do you want it to do? He was like, I want to do these songs right here. I was like, I know all of them. We can do them tonight. And he's like, what? Like what? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like, this is what I came. You know, this is what I came here for. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I went over prepared, which actually worked out in my favor. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was really happy about that, which resulted in, you know, my contract getting extended. So I'm gonna be there, leaving in a couple months. I mean, not a couple months, a couple weeks actually. Yeah. A couple weeks, I'll be going back again, and I'll be there until November. Okay. Yeah, and then that'll conclude like the full contract for me with this venue here. But yeah.
So I was like, so many questions. So what would you say was some of the biggest surprises just in regards to like the way that you perform night to night in this capacity compared to how you were performing here in Atlanta?
Oh, it was kind of intense. And I'll say for me, this is probably my first time ever saying this.
Oh, you know what? First here, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I'm kind of excited. For everything. I'm nervous. Okay.
But no, so I've dealt with a bit of stage fright, like for majority of like my childhood, I can say. And you let my mom tell it. She was like, you always used to be so ashamed, like, and so shy, you know. And even now, up until, well, probably not now anymore, but for a long time, it took me a while to really like open up and be fully free the way I wanted to on stage, you know. And a lot of that comes to like what we were talking about before in regards to like jealousy and, you know, people trying to like dim my light and, you know, me not wanting to cause any trouble. So I'm, you know, basically dimming and not really doing what I know I can do because I just don't want to cause any friction, because I would rather collaborate with people than to have enemies, because I don't think it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we all just work together, you know? Mm-hmm. And if I'm better than you, like, learn something. Don't try to, like, shoot me down. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Yeah, right. It's so weird, you know? So with those things, I just figured now I'll just be more, what's the word I'm looking for? I think, dang, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's on the tip of my tongue. I hate when that happens.
Can you do how many syllables?
Not how many syllables. But anyway, I said all of that to say, you know, I blocked myself from being, you know, really shy, you know, and this experience, because it's like 400 to 500 people every night. Yeah. You know, and I mean, they're packed in their like sardines. Yeah. You know, and they're ready to see a show, you know, so the intensity.
Yeah, they're not there for live music. They are there for a show. And you better put on a show.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you gotta really come with it, you know. And here, you know, the American clubs and lounges, you know, they're usually lounges. So at most, you may see 100, 150, maybe 200 if it's like one of those nights and it's an event or whatever the heck's going on.
But maybe only 30% of those people will be paying attention. If it's a lounge, like people are going to be talking and chatting and
But this place, we can go on break and come back, and there are 200 people staring at us like, hey. They're already going, We haven't even done
okay, we better give it to them. All right, come on.
Like, we haven't even done anything yet. Yeah. And they're already hype. I'm like, oh, gosh, we got to, come out with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that was a change for me, but it was what I needed because I knew going here, I would be able to really break out of my shell and practice. And for me, bigger crowds to me are more fun because I can't see who's there.
Absolutely.
So it's like, who cares? And then I'm in a whole other country.
Just a sea of people just like, put your hand. Especially when you have the microphone, you're like, you tell 400 or 500 people to put their hands up and they all do it. Like, what's better than just...
You know what I'm saying? For people who are actually active listening and came there to actually have fun. To me, that was the best part because here in America, I think Americans are very spoiled when it comes to live entertainment, and they're just expected for us to just come out being Beyonce, and it's like, y'all didn't even pay to get in here. It's really weird. Like, you didn't even pay to get in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are not contributing to the budget for the band. You feel me? And it's like, they want us to do so much without even understanding what it is versus you go overseas and like we said, the amenities are great. I'm living in a hotel, 5-star hotel. Yeah. I'm on the top floor. Right. I'm, getting my dry clean brought to me with my food and, everything. Yeah. So it's all nice. And then you get on the stage and you're performing for 200 to 500 people every night. Like, that's the type of situation that I wanted to get used to because I know that performing here is great, because my presence is great. It's heard, it's felt, so I mastered that. But just to be able to be fully free on stage and really let go, being in Morocco gave me the freedom to really experiment, but not necessarily the way I wanted to because I wasn't necessarily given the proper instructions on my clothings. And as you can see, I'm full figure. So I can't just be on stage doing the most. But, this next time I go back, we're definitely going to get real risque. Okay. In terms of performance-wise, because I just want to test the limits with myself, Because I feel like as a vocalist, I've been classically trained since I was 15 years old. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's oh God, coming on about 20 years of experience. Yeah. Not 20 though.
The voice is
right. So the voice is voicing.
Yeah. For real.
The voice is voicing. You know what I'm saying? And the stage presence is there as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I need for my intensity, this is my own critique within myself. And of course I can put on a good show. But I know that I can do so much more. And I just haven't been able to have the capacity to push myself to those limits. Yeah. And being in Morocco is giving me that freedom to do that. So that's the main reason that I'm excited to go back because I'm actually going to go back with knowledge of what it takes to be there
and a vision
and a vision for myself and then be fully prepared to give my all. So I'm really excited about that part. And then
they don't know what's
they
coming.
Have no idea.
They have no idea. I was
barely doing anything and I lost 15 pounds. So imagine when I get
doing
up there.
The most?
Baby, look, come on, another 20 pounds. Listen, I'm trying to be snatched, honey.
Look, and honestly, I mean,
I just want to be in the best shape because I know for what I want to do, I need to be in better shape as vocalists, as performers.
It's just part of the puzzle.
And then being in life, you know what I'm saying? Like, even I look at us now, like, people would never guess of what our ages are. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I think for our generation, we just like to have a lot more fun, and I'm going to get my sleep. Yeah. I don't care what's happening. I'm going to get my sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with the generations, looking younger and younger at older ages, like, I just want to make sure that in my 60s and 70s, like, I'm looking like Jada Pinkett's mom. Like,
yeah. I want to. Yeah, Gammy does look amazing.
Gammy looks so good.
Wait, that's not her sister? Like,
no. But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to look like that.
Yeah.
So I need to start now while I'm like half her age.
Yeah, right. No, I think,
and then get it together. Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting that you say that too, because I know we talked about like what it's like being a woman in the music industry and how like there's a lot more pressure on the outside oftentimes.
Right.
But with the fact that people are getting older but still looking younger, like not only can we hide our age, but also I think there's a lot more understanding in that just because someone's 40 doesn't mean they're halfway over the hill. Like,
right,
I think,
and it doesn't mean that just because I'm older that I can't have fun
or that you can't absolutely beat it down on stage, you know? And I think for a long time the music industry has been like, you know, cute little 23 to 26-year-old little pops. That's what's hot and that's what works. I'm like, well, tell that to Lizzo.
But listen, they did that specifically because they knew that children are more docile.
Right.
So they'll be able to manipulate them. Yeah. They'll be able to do what they want to. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they kind of romanticize the idea of being a young artist to us.
Right.
So that the older we get, we feel hopeless. When in reality, the older we get, the stronger
more powerful,
and the better we are, and the more we're able to really negotiate what we're worth.
Right.
They don't want that in the music industry. You know, and specifically, my biggest inspirations are people like Tina Turner. Mm-hmm. And people like we were talking about earlier, my favorite, Josephine Baker. And just a tidbit, Josephine Baker did one of her first residencies at the same hotel that I'm doing my first residency at.
Is that not so freaking cool?
And I'm sorry, you guys, you can't talk to me now because
I love that. I think that is so bad. You'd like soak up a little bit of the magic every night. You know
what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I wonder if I'm staying in the same room that she was staying in, you know, when she was here. You know, all of those things, you know. So it's just really exciting to be in a place that's so prestigious as that, especially knowing that. And I didn't find out until I got there that she actually, you know, did one of her first residencies there. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. You know, it just reaffirmed that I was in the right place doing the right thing because she's one of my biggest inspirations. And again, Tina Turner, these are people who didn't really hit their really big peaks in their careers until they're like in her late, you know, 30s, early 40s.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like her big stadium tour, when she had all those stadiums, she was in her 40s.
Yeah.
You know, and Josephine Baker, even Tina Turner, both of them were still performing in their 60s, still selling out venues in their 60s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we don't have to be in bad shape at that age at all.
Absolutely.
And I can honestly say I think that's probably where my life, you know, is probably the trajectory of where it's going.
Absolutely. It's so empowering to be, I don't know about you, I think for you, but like to be in this era of our life, like I love the early 30s. Like I love say goodbye to my 20s, truly. Like this is the empowerment era, and I feel like I'm thinking like you. For a long time I was like, oh, I think, you know, it's probably too late for me as a musician. It's probably too late. I'm over the hill. But seeing how people are taking their power, like for me, a big inspiration for me is Sia, the singer, and she had her first crossover hit to be the singer of a song rather than just writing it in her 40s, you know,
right.
Like,
and I love Sia.
Yeah, like the future is bright.
It's very bright for us because for whatever reason they try to convince us that 30s is old, and I still feel like I was 17, like yesterday.
Yeah. Maybe in the 50s, 30s was old because
maybe it was.
You know, like I don't 10 know kids what, by then. Like right, you know, that's the other thing. Or we have talked about this before.
Society has changed completely.
Society has changed, but I think what also might keep you and I young is we don't have kids yet.
No,
we're out here on the stage doing our thing.
Listen,
not having to like track around any like rugrats right now, and I think that changes things.
What does it? You know what I'm saying? I was telling my best friend. I said, there's only one thing that I like to do, that I like in this world more than kids. And she was like, what is it? I said, it's doing whatever I want.
Yeah.
When I want.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing that I want in life. And I know that having children, it's going to take that away in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And right now, I'm not ready for that kind of responsibility. Absolutely. I'm not even monetarily in a place where I feel like people should even have children, because we know people have children at all types of financial stages, and it's not conducive for the overall development of
anyone in the house, like
in general. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I know that, I just feel like if I'm not able to take a year and a half off and have a child and nothing in my life changes,
it's not the right time, probably.
It's not the right time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and first of all, I'm single. So, like, I need a husband. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not skipping the steps.
I digress slightly. Are you? I'm just asking this while we're just on this. Be honest. Are you at all? Have you met any nice Arabian sheikhs while you've been over there?
Actually, no.
Okay. Right.
No, I hadn't. I think maybe a couple of people like were trying to like talk to me and flirt with me, but it wasn't necessarily my type, you know.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Okay. And I thought, and I was just thinking, maybe something would happen over there, but it no, you never know. Maybe the second leg, you never know what'll happen, but
you'll be more you've found your stride now. So like going into the second leg,
maybe a little bit more different. And I wasn't able to get out as much as I did this time because like we talked about the language barrier.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then like my cell phones didn't work over there, so like the companies didn't work at all. So I wasn't even able to like get like a eSIM to where I can have data and like move around the way I wanted to.
Right.
So if I didn't really know where the place was, I couldn't go.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I just, excuse me, I was like, when I get back to America, I'm just gonna buy me a new phone. Something that's unlocked so that I'll actually be able to take it over there and use it and get around more because I don't necessarily need people to travel with me. And Marrakesh specifically it isn't really dangerous, like you can walk around in the streets at 2:00 in the morning. Nobody's really going to be bothering you like that.
That's really one. I wasn't sure what to expect of Morocco. I've never been there. Okay.
I was more at peace there. Like I felt like, and a friend of mine, she said the same thing. She was like, girl, you just left your purse over here on the table. She was like, oh, you're just carefree. You don't have a care in the world. I was like, I feel great, and that's one of the main things that, I took away from there. I was actually just able to relax because here in America, everything's just so tense. But I noticed that within myself that I'm just way more lax, which is good. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because we all know being an artist, and then like we said, female artist, the anxiety alone that just comes with just having to exist in your own authenticity is enough.
Right. Absolutely. Not having to like defend yourself, defend your artistic choices, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And for a place like that where it's like they've never heard anything like this.
Yeah.
So it's literally like I met this one lady and the connections. I met this one lady, gosh, I can't think of her name right now. But when I do get her name, we're gonna put it at the bottom of the screen so that you'll know who it is because she's such a dope human. But I met her at the show. She goes after the break. She's like, she just looks and she stares at me, and I'm like, hey, how are you? Hey, and she's like, girl, I just want to throw up on you right now. She was like, are you kidding me? She was like, what are you doing up there? She was like, this is the best show I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. She was like, girl. She was like, where did you come from? She was like, what is this? She was like, I can't. She's like, me and my friends were here. Come to find out, she's a rep for the UK branch for Rock Nation.
Oh, damn.
Right. And I'm like, what the heck? She was like, I was like, hey, I'm coming to London. She was like, come.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. Like, but that's just one of the connections. Then another guy I met, he does recruiting, like an international booking. So I already met someone that I really linked with, and I was trying to figure out why did we click instantly. Our birthdays are the same day. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out, and he actually, his focus is international booking.
Nice.
Major, perfect connection.
Yeah.
Then I was just chilling, and this one lady walked up to me. She was like, oh my God, you were the best. She came and she sat with us, all of this stuff. She's an Olympic swimmer. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we're just... Right, surprise. Yeah, right. Like, we're just sitting here, and I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. I'm just literally sitting with all of these, like, well-known, well-established people, all just based on my talent.
Yeah, you're just doing what you love and what your passion and what your gifting is. And they've also done that too, but you're like merging together. That's really awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So like I seen the types of people that I'm attracting, change in regards to situations like that, the connections that I'm making. And they're from different places. So it's like, oh, when you come back, come to this place. Oh, if you come here, you got a friend here. It's like, okay, great, So I think that's one of the joys of what we do. Because when people see us in our elements, and I know you guys heard Ella sing before. You have to if you're watching this. Beast. So you already know that if there's any connection you want to make it after they've heard you sing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like,
after they've heard you sing.
Right? People will look over. I was just talking with another guest about this recently. Like, people will sorely underestimate you until you open, as singers, until we open our mouths, and it's like our little superpower, and they're like, what?
So how has that been for you here? Now I'm the interviewer. How has that been for you here?
So that's really... That's funny. I know that I've definitely surprised quite a few people who have just been like, I didn't expect the amount of soul to come out of that.
And soul you got, honey.
Right? And I'm like, I'm just doing what I love and what like I feel like God gave me the gift to do, you know. So, but I've definitely shocked a few people. They're like, that is not the voice. Like, but you know, I turn up. Sometimes I wear my hair curly. And like, yeah, you know, we just saw you get up there, get like little blonde curls. Like, I was probably gonna sing some Taylor Swift or something,
or some Sarah McLachlan. Or something.
Yeah, right. And then I'll bust out something, you know, really, really funky, and they're like, what? Where did that come from?
Right.
Just So. It is kind of, don't get me wrong, I kind of like the feeling of being underestimated sometimes.
I love it because
it gives you an upper hand. People are like, you didn't expect that, did you?
Right. And now, in situations like that, now you can name your price because when they see that the talent is something
there.
that is there and it's like at an overwhelming thing, it's like, okay, well, I've underestimated her the first time. Yeah. Let me not miss this opportunity. So whatever price you give them, it's gonna be a steal.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be a steal. So that was the next thing I loved about, you know, being there because the who's of wherever, they're the only ones who are confident enough to even come up to you and say, can I get a picture?
Yeah,
hey, I want to say good show. Da, 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 da. Those kind of people, they're the only ones because, you know, most people, they look at you and how the stage is, it's like the people are, I'm looking down at the people. Right. So they're looking up like we're at a festival, you know, so to them, we're larger than life. Mm-hmm. And for people to come up to me and like, hey, oh my God, you did so good tonight. And I've had people do that. And even another person, they're like, me and my brothers, we came 3 nights in a row just to see you. Yeah, you know, and I'm like, what? And then the band leader, he's like, yeah. He was like, yeah, thank you, man. The band's great. It was like, no. Her. Yeah. I'm like, oh God. So things, right, you know, that's my little shoulders off, you know. So that happened a lot, you know. So we literally turned into like little local celebrities. So no matter where I went, people knew who I was, you know.
That's so cool.
And it worked in my favor a lot of times. Like I went to a dance studio to do choreography classes because, like I said, I only worked out 3 times I was there. So I was like, let me try to do something. Yeah. And this one guy, he would come. His name is Gerard. Shout out to Gerard. I love him. He's a amazing dancer, and he's also a choreographer. Mm-hmm. So he specializes in, of course, you know, Afro dancing, things like that. Cool. So I took his Afro beats class, and oh my God, it was amazing, you know. So I go there and I'm like, oh, you know, let me go to the counter, let me pay my stuff. It's like, oh no, we're just so, you know, happy. I'm like, what, me? I'm like, oh man, you know. So just the perks of being there and everyone in the city, you know, because like I said, it's the casino. It's the only casino there. Right. So they party every day. Mm-hmm. I told them, they was like, when they hear where I'm from, they're like, where you from? I'm like, Miami. They're like, oh, America, Miami. They was like, oh, Party City. I'm like, y'all party.
Yeah. Like, you're not missing anything, really.
Moroccans party. Yeah. And because it's so hot, like when I left, it was 115 degrees. Girl, you never see me until 8 o'clock. It's not happening before 8 o'clock. Right. Just even if I have to go to the pool, get my food, package dish to go. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going back to my room. There's no way y'all are expecting me to be out here in the sun.
Yeah, absolutely. Not when you have to jump around in when it's still going to be, you know, 89, 90 degrees at 11, you know, so...
And the show doesn't start until midnight, and it's still 95 degrees at midnight. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. You know, so like, no, I'm not... I'm not putting up with any of that, girl. So, yeah. I'm excited to go back.
Tell me, on the like sort of like dancey choreography thing, I don't know if you remember what, like when we first met and you were like, I'm gonna go and sing in rock. I was like, oh, I've done that before. I don't really like it. I can remember kicking myself. I was like, why did I tell her that? Like, you haven't even gone yet. But one of the big reasons that I found it really hard, it wasn't so much the energy. Like, I'm cool with jumping up and down. I'm just say it because I'm a white girl. My like rhythm isn't amazing. It can't be bad because I can sing jazz. But like,
can't be too bad,
right? Like I just feel like my choreography skills aren't great. How has that been? How do you have to do a lot of set choreography in your show? Or?
Actually, I do, and they sprung it on me at the last second. You know, because. Everybody, I love Rihanna. So we have like this Rihanna medley that we do, me and the other female singer.
Oh, it's so like, na 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 na, come on, you kick, yeah.
So we do that, but no, so they haven't been able to catch the part where I do real choreography, y'all.
Okay, all right. So, okay.
Yeah, so, and it's so crazy because I feel like, just, you know how I was saying, like, I want to be able to like perform and be more open, you know, and in my mind, I'm just like, you know, let me do that song and that song. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm going to do this song, not expecting it to be, you know, because I'm like, the breaks in this song is too long. So there's no way they would just leave that open on stage. You know, like, what the heck we're going to do? And the stage it's a higher stage, but it's not a bigger stage.
Right. It's tall, but
so if you're going to do choreography, it needs to be nice and tight and conducive for the stage, the amount of space that you have. So I picked the songs without even thinking about the fact that, you know, the song, well, I knew the song had a break, and in my mind, I'm like, he's not going to do that. He was like, we does it, and he was like, oh, yeah, there's a break here, so you're going to have to, like, do something there. I'm like, what I'm going to do? He was like, oh, well, you know, you're going to have to, he's a French guy, you know, so it's my French accent, y'all. You know, you're just going to have to, like, you know, do some kinds of dance choreography. And I'm like, dance choreography? I'm like, choreography? I'm like, oh, my God. You know, so at first... So at first it was supposed to be me and the other girl doing it with me. Mm-hmm. But then she never did it with me. So I was up there by myself, so I had to create like this. And at first it was supposed to be just an 8 count. But then I had to do a 16. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is real choreography.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 16 count, like I didn't break down in a Rihanna song of all things.
Oh, in a Rihanna song, you know, so we're like, where have you been all my life? And then I break, you know, when they're doing like the real choreography, now I have to come out with like an 8 piece, like I'm at the Super Bowl. So doing that 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell of a learning curve.
A hell of a learning curve. You know, and I'm a dancer already. So it wasn't necessarily going to be hard for me to come with the choreography. So I had to make something up or whatever. But it was just, I wasn't expecting it to be that kind of choreography.
Right.
And then that's what I was like, you know what? I don't have the right clothes for this. This is, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to, even with the choreography I picked, as simple as it is, it's simple but big moves. You know, because I don't want to make myself tired, because that's the next thing. Right. It's like when people see people performing on stage, and it's like they could probably be doing more, but it's like, okay, everybody's not Michael Jackson.
Right. You know? We all know where our lane is.
You feel me? Everybody's not Michael Jackson. But we strive to be. You know, I'm like Lady Gaga. Like, I don't ever want to be on stage and I'm lip syncing. I just don't want that to ever be in existence.
That's an honor.
Even if I'm performing, which is why I said I need to be looking like Jada Pickett's mom, because I need to be in shape
able to jump and
be able to sing like Tiana Taylor. Oh my God, Tiana Taylor is a beast. Have you ever seen her perform?
Not perform.
Yeah, go on YouTube, watch some performances of Tiana Taylor, and she's bouncing off the walls. Yeah, amazing stage presence. Abs are on fleek, abs on top of abs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and she's singing and dancing, full out choreography. You know what I'm saying? But like, we're not all Tiana Taylor either. You feel me? So.
Right. But no, like there's, you know,
the goal is to get there. Right. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like now that I know, like I said, what I'm expected to do, I'm probably even going to change the choreography up a little bit to make it seem like it's just a little bit more intense. But I'm really just doing some simple stuff. Nice. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah. Hey, if
right. You know, but it'll work. And like I said, it's not about the band or anything. This is specifically for me because I need to get comfortable doing that, because it's like I need to upgrade. I want to grow. That's the ultimate, you know, the ultimate goal for my life in general is to evolve. You know, I have new evolving sweatshirts coming out for the fall. Look out. Yeah. So it's like we're always evolving. So if I'm not going to take time out of an opportunity, especially if, you know, because sometimes everything doesn't go the way you want it to go. Right. And with that, you have to find some form of gratitude in the midst of your aggravation, so that you're able to still not only attract more abundance, but just get yourself through the situation. Right. You know, for sure. So when I find myself, like we said, you know, getting homesick, or, you know, tonight just wasn't a good night, you know what I mean? Things like that. And you're overseas, I'm by myself, you know, it's things that I need to count on and be grateful for.
Yeah.
And one of those main things is the fact that I'll be able to just evolve and grow as a performer, so that when I come here and I come back to perform, it's like, dang, this is like a whole new girl.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know, so even now I can see the difference in my performance now. So, yeah.
I love that. That's so exciting.
Yep.
So I have like a final question. What kind of advice would you give to another singer who is starting in the, not just the corporate world, because obviously you and I have done corporate work here in America as well, but like the overseas residency corporate gig? What kind of advice would you give to a singer looking to go and do their first overseas residency? Lay it on us.
The first thing I would say is, if you don't know how to meditate, learn how to meditate, you know, because the main thing that I've noticed, and just out of this first experience, is just the first leg of the residency. I have another 3 months left, but just this first leg of it, if you don't have your mind intact, and that's just not even overseas, that's with this music industry in general, but I definitely feel like this situation is giving me a crash course into the, what we would say, real music industry, you know? So come prepared to get it together.
Yeah.
Get it together.
You really have to get it together.
You really have to get it together on a mental level, because I will say, if you can't handle the international overseas circuit, there's no way you'll make it in the music industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no way. You know what I'm saying? Because on the flip side of, you know, me loving my amenities, I can go to the spa, I can go to the steam room, you know, free alcohol, whatever I want for food, you know, all of these things at my doorstep, top floor hotel, you know what I'm saying? That's all nice and dandy. But if, number one, I'm not prepared for the job, that's going to take away from my overall experience, because now I have to rehearse. Number two, getting into it, you know, with the new people that you're working with, because it's just different personalities, it's different cultures, it's things to, you know, get used to. So be open to different people in life, you know, because that's the next thing. I promise you, I learned so much. So if you're not open to just being able to receive different types of cultures and try to understand before you try to like make judgments on who people are. Now, I mean, an asshole is an asshole.
Regardless of where you are in the world, it's true.
Regardless of where you are in the world, you know what I'm saying? But aside from that, there are cultural differences that may create what you consider to be an asshole that may just be regular for people in other cultures, you know? So it's just about
being open-minded.
Being open-minded, you know what I'm saying? You have to be open-minded. And then number two, like, have fun, explore.
Yeah.
Like, be ready to explore new things. Like, you know, in America, we have a plethora of different cultures, but it's nothing like actually going to one of those places where the culture is at that we get just a little snippet of here in America and actually seeing what life is like on an everyday basis, you know? So explore. And like I said, I didn't even get a chance to explore the way I wanted to, but my lovely friends came to visit me while I was in Morocco, my rich friends.
Nice. Yeah.
So they came and visited me while I was there. And with the week that they were there, of course, I was like, well, let me see our itinerary.
Right.
Because they're those kind of people. They're going to have an itinerary. So I'm picking out the things I'm going to do with them. You know?
Right. Things you could join with, yeah.
And those are the things that I was able to actually do. And I'm like, not me living here for 3 months and doing more in this 1 week of y'all being here that I've done the entire time that I was there, you know. But on days I was just exhausted. Because
it's really hard. You live your schedule is opposite to everyone else's in the city.
Not only in the city, but in the world.
Yeah.
Because while you guys were here asleep, I was just getting off stage.
Yeah. And we talked about it, like, you get off stage and
at 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. and then
that's
you need
literally
to wind
walking
down.
off the stage.
Right.
So now I need a drink because I've had it.
Right.
And there's no telling what happened.
Right. You're totally drenched in sweat.
Totally drenched in sweat.
Hair's gone home, makeup sliding out the face, need a drink.
No lipstick, my lash sliding off on the side.
Adrenaline is tanking. So then it takes you another 2.5, 3 hours. Well, for me, it was a long time, but like an hour and a half to just sort of like get to like a even place, and then you have to get ready for bed. And it's like by the time the sun, like we said, by the time the sun's
it's
coming up,
6 o'clock in the morning. I might as well go to breakfast. Breakfast starts in 30 minutes.
Absolutely. No, it's true. And like
sometimes
you said,
I go to breakfast and then I don't get to bed until like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And for me to have to wake up around 5 p.m.
to get ready again.
To do it all over again.
And you haven't seen the daytime. Yeah, no, you have to, like you said, you have to have a very strong,
you have to be mentally there. If you're not in your mind there, nothing.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose it because you're there by yourself. Different environment.
It's me. Hi.
Right.
I lost it. It's me. I did. I did that once.
You did? Overseas, where were you?
In Dubai. Yeah,
Dubai.
That's like when
But Dubai is hot. I hear anybody could lose their minds there.
It was
too hot.
But all of those things, being alone, my first job, trying to overcompensate for like being nervous and all of the things. Like you really have to go in there with. I think for you now going and doing your second half, like you're going in with a totally different mindset.
Totally
like you have got it
mindset.
locked down, and that's
because all I need is one time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I have it locked down. And like I said, I didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And you really truly don't know because everybody's experience is going to be different. However, the basis of it all, as I've heard from you and other people who told me the same thing that you said, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, there's no way, because
everyone else could be doing
overseas, this. And it's like, hey,
I'm telling you,
it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I would even suggest strongly if you're looking to be an actual artist in the music industry, whether that's independent or you want to go full out mainstream and, be picked up by a label, whatever, I would highly, strongly suggest putting yourself in an international situation just to see if you're okay with how things move on a different level from just what we would call here the chitlin circuit, which is the clubs, the lounges, things like that.
Absolutely.
Because that's nice and cool, comfortable. Mm-hmm. But if you want to perform at festivals and you want to get used to those kind of crowds, you might want to do a couple, overseas situations just so that you can get used to the time. And it's so crazy because the first week I was exhausted, honey. And I sat in the bed. It's like probably 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, why did I do this?
What have I gotten myself?
Like, what is this? Everything had happened. I'm just like, what am I doing? How did I get to this? And I just heard a voice in my head say, you're getting ready for tour.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what tour life is going to be like. And I honestly don't think tour life is going to be like that.
No.
I think it's going to be a lot better because, of course, if you're on tour, you're either going to be in a...
calling the charts first of all.
On my own tour. Yeah. Or if you're singing back up with somebody else, it's going to be a stricter, type of situation, but you're not going to be dealing with the things that you'll be dealing with in an international situation.
Right.
However...
You probably won't be singing till 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, people on tour get their sleep, honey.
You know what I mean? They get their sleep and most of the per diems, all those kind of situations. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, overseas will prepare you as a crash course to what to expect, all the things in life that you can expect with doing entertainment live, in a bigger setting. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, I told you, that's why I'm going this time. I was like, okay, that was the pre-test. Now we're going for, like, the real test. Yeah. Now that I'm going back, I'll actually be able to, like, push it to the limits because I know what to do now.
Yeah.
And I've been watching, like, the other lady who performed with me, she's been doing it for, like, 12 years. Mm-hmm. So just me, when she's doing her stuff, I'm in the back, I'm watching, I'm taking notes because if somebody's up on stage and they're performing like we talked about, I'm not jealous of anybody.
Right.
Because I am who I am and they are who they are.
Right.
But, like I said, I want to grow. So if there's something that they're doing, if I can see that there's a way that I can individualize that for myself or create my own way of that I know that I'm not doing, I'm going to take that little tidbit from her.
Absolutely.
And I'm also going to let her know, like, hey, I love this about you. That's really cool that you do that. And I know that I don't do anything like that, so I'm going to figure out my own, but I got that from you, just so you know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it creates a better environment. We're able to really have fun, interact on stage, and it looks fun. Right. Because every time people see the video that you saw, they're like, oh my God, you guys are like having some fun. Yeah. And when we get to that part, we are having fun because we've created that kind of relationship with each other where, she's like some songs, she's sitting in the back and I'm doing like Rolling in the Deep, which is they love me doing that song. I think I'm probably never gonna sing that song again.
Once you get back,
I'm probably never gonna do "Rolling in the Deep" again. But oh my God, when I do "Rolling in the Deep," everybody loves that.
Yeah.
And she's just in the back. I turn around, she's like, "Oh, girl." You know, they're just singing, you know, the crowds, they're just going crazy. They love that whole experience. You know what I'm saying? So we feed off of each other, we compliment each other, and that's the next thing. Compliment the people on stage, even if you don't like them, even if you think they suck. You know, just say something.
Right.
You know, because, again, it's new. And for me, it was different for me. I'm a black girl coming from America. You know what I'm saying? So we all know how other countries have been shown what American people are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Specifically black women, black men. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they already come with a preconceived notion, you know. So, and that's just in general, like I said, for the music industry. I have to learn to... I know I have what they call it, RBF.
Resting bitch face?
Right. So I know I have resting bitch face. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn how to kind of like, you know, be a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
You know, my voice is deeper than a lot of women.
Yeah.
You know, so then I have to, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
You know, make it, you know, be open, be softer.
Right.
Be butter.
Right. And that's not being like...
Not necessarily changing who
unauthentic.
You are. Right, not unauthentic.
It's just your approach.
It's your approach, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that'll open people up to even wanting to like...
And that opens doors for you too.
Exactly,
When you can
you
meet
know?
people, especially in an international setting, when you meet people at their level, especially coming from, like you said, like being an American, there are a lot of preconceived emotions. So when you meet somebody at their level, be like, what, an American who's like...
Nice.
Who kind of like, you know, vibes well. Yeah, it really, and that, when you realize that again is like a superpower, because when you can tap into that, really it's empathy. It's empathy and having understanding and tolerance for other people. When you can tap into that,
and being
they
present.
remember you.
And being present.
Yes.
And knowing where you are. Like I said, the currency difference there is ridiculous. 10 American dollars is $100 there.
Yeah.
You know? And most of them are living off of like 3,000 dirhams a month, and that's only $300 a month.
Right.
You know? So from their viewpoint to me, you know, it's like, oh, she's making, you know, all of this, that, and the third. Like, when people are already looking at you in a certain way, because, you know, it's like the poor, oh, they're rich, they don't have a worry, they don't have da. So it's like, no, this may seem a lot here, but look, this is nothing.
Right.
Where I come from, you know what I mean?
So having that humility and
creating that humility,
discourse,
you know, and even with them, they would tell us sometimes, excuse me, to not to speak to the servers and things like that. And it's like, there's no way I can do that because I was a server for 10 years.
Right. Like, I cannot just downplay what these people do. Yeah.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, when I sit down to eat, all of them, are you okay? They're fixing the table. Did you get that? They're grabbing my drinks. You know what I'm saying? Everything is cool. I'm talking with them, and it's one of those, they're like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, good, how are you? And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah. And it's like, nobody's asked you how you're doing today?
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just about being a cool person. And it makes your experience better because then now they're probably going to do things for you that they wouldn't do for other customers. Right. Or probably other people that are working with you.
Yeah.
It's just about being a nice human being in general. Yeah. And like you said, meeting people where they're at. Yeah. And those are the things that, like, people are messaging me now, when are you coming back? We missed you. It's not the same. I'm like, oh, well, I'll be back, you know. And then that's the next thing, you know, leaving a mark.
Yes.
To where it's like, dang, this is a good show, but it's not as good as when ZENA was there. Right. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And that's what you did. You did it. You nailed it. You're like,
nailed it.
Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming and talking about your experience so far. I'm definitely down for a part 3.
Listen, I'm down for part 3.
November, right? November? Yep. All right. November, we can get into, we had a little idea of how we could, like, even up the ante for this kind of discussion. Yeah. And how we can go in more into depth about, like, some of the harder parts of being in a residency overseas. So
the other parts of it. Yeah, the other parts of it, because it's definitely a great experience, you know, but there's nothing in life that's not going to have highs and lows. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
And I think, like we spoke about that there hasn't been anyone to really go in depth about the experience of being an international entertainer,
right.
which is one of the reasons why I started my vlog called My Live Ass Indie Life, streaming live now on YouTube.
Go check it out.
Yes, I have a few episodes up there now, and I'm going to upload the rest before I go back to Morocco so you guys can see what I was doing for the first leg. And I created that specifically because when I wanted to look online to see what the experience was like to just do anything abroad in that arena, there were no videos, nobody vlogging, nobody telling you what it's like. And I have many friends that are doing it, you know, but in this industry, I don't know why it just seems taboo to ask people certain questions because people don't necessarily want to talk about those things.
Right.
You know, but I think I thought of it as a good way for me to not only help others that want to do it as well, but also give people a little bit of who I am to see what what I have to offer to the world in general. So I created that show to let y'all see what it's like. And I think opening up the conversation to other women and men, you know, because we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. And I think we need to talk about that, about just the overall experience of what that is. And we may need to do one about just live entertainment in general because like I see, you know, with the actors, they're doing the actors strike, the writers strike, the songwriters are on strike. And I promise you, I just told someone else the other day, I'm like, we need to go on strike because how are all the prices in the world going up but your budget's in the clubs? Like, how do you have a stage for a band but no budget for the band? Like, who created the overhead?
Did you not just raise all of your like cocktail prices last week by $3?
You know,
so that's an extra what, $3,000 a night on a good night? Like, tell me you can't pay a whole band with that.
Y'all don't got $1,000.
Don't get me started. But
you know what I'm saying?
I think we should definitely get into that.
We need to have both of those conversations because at some point, I think we need to all come together.
Right.
You know, I feel like all of us in the city are very talented. And if we actually stuck together and created some form of union, some form of board or anything to where we can, or not even a board, we just need some kind of community within ourselves so that we can get the
more
respect
intentional community for
more
sure.
intentional community so that we can all be able to fully eat because there's so much money out here to be made. And I feel like with everybody working separately, we're not going to be able to get it. But I've never, since I've been in Atlanta, since about 2017, 2018, I've never seen anyone try to do any kind of discussions in regards to how I feel live entertainment and entertainment in general being exploited in Atlanta, but more specifically for us who this is how we eat. So it's kind of hard to just boycott because I'm not going to go and get a job, honey.
This is like
this is the job, honey.
You know
what I'm saying? And for me and for other people is I understood the assignment. We went and did what we needed to do, you know. But for other people, you know, their families are depending on it. You know what I mean? So it's not easy for a musician to just boycott, you know, venues or boycott playing
when they're needing those gigs.
When they're needing those gigs to survive and to take care of their families. You know what I'm saying? So it's really rough. But I just feel like there needs to be, number one, an open discussion about the situation, what it is completely, and how we can move forward with that. And even on an international level, I'm excited to see what we do with that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
Hell yeah. So that's things that you can have to look forward to. But in the meantime, please tell everyone where to find all your social media. We know your Live Ass Indie Life is streaming live now on YouTube.
Yes.
But where do you find GodZENA everywhere else?
You can find GodZENA at GodZENA, GODZENA. And that's basically my handle for everything. Once you put that in the search engine, everything should pop up. Again, make sure you go and watch My Live Ass Indie Life on YouTube. You can find that link also in my bio, as well as the links to 2 of my singles. I am working on music right now, so music is coming.
On the way.
I'm super excited about it. I have a new team. We have to talk about that on the 3rd segment about how I had this crazy manager who...
Don't give any spoilers. Episode 3.
Y'all aren't going to even be expecting this because I wasn't either. You feel me? But whole new team, all new music. You know, we're getting to it. So at GodZENA, make sure you guys check me out. I'll be at Whiskey Mistress tomorrow night with my band 1159. So come check us out, you know?
Awesome. Well, Well, thank you so much for coming in and having another chat. I'm excited for part 3. I'm excited in the meantime to be watching all your Instagram stories because honestly, like they just give me life. I'm like, oh, there's a new one. Like wake up in the morning because I know that when I wake up in the morning, like it's opposite time zones and stuff.
Right.
Like,
so by the time you guys wake up in the morning, it's literally like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. I've already lived the day.
Yeah.
That's so funny because I always wonder what people are thinking when they watch my stories.
Oh no, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm here for the sass. I am here for your live ass indie life. I'm here for your singing, like all of it. So I'll be
about to start posting.
posting.
What am I talking about? I'm about to start posting more videos. I was just so exhausted. I couldn't make any videos, but I feel like I need to do more singing. I haven't, because I've been singing so much every day. I just haven't taken the time to
sing outside of that.
Right, absolutely. Outside of that. But, you know, people been like, you should do more videos. They're coming, guys. They're coming. Just
hold in there.
Just give me it. It's going to be worth it. The wait is going to be worth it.
Well, I am so excited for all of those updates and all the new stuff coming. And if you are also an artist who is working on music, or you've released some music, or maybe you're doing a really cool project and you'd like to come and do this kind of interview, we'd love to have you on the show. So you can go and visit us at Vision One Media ATL on Instagram. We are vision1social@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Vision One Media. We have our website. You can contact me personally. I'm ellabeth.music on Instagram. But reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. We're always excited to find new artists and to be able to collaborate and keep creating platforms for live ass indie artists because it's really important. So we'll keep doing what we're doing. I've been so happy to be able to interview you today. So keep doing what you're doing.
I love talking with you, girl. I love it. We got to go out for drinks sometimes. Just to hang.
It's going to be a live ass crazy.
Listen, when singers get involved and we get together, we have a time, honey. Nobody's expecting it, but
well, you have been amazing.
Thank you,
we will see you all on the next episode.
Right. Part 3 coming. Peace.